is Niato Abrahams. I'm the Associate Director of Campus Ministry here at Press House. And thanks for tuning in. I am sitting here with Sam and Kevin, two students who are part of the Press House community, and we are in the Press House Dojo. If you didn't know, the dojo is something that we added to Press House this year as part of Pastor Erica's grant project with the Louisville Institute. And there have been a lot of cool things happening in the dojo this year. One of them, very, very exciting, is Taekwondo. And Sam and Kevin are two of the students who have been part of the sort of first group that has practiced regularly here at Press House. And so I'm sitting down with them here today to kind of talk about that experience and let you all know what Taekwondo at Press House is like. And so let's just jump right in. If you don't mind introducing yourselves, so share your name, your pronouns, and what you're studying here at UW.
Okay. I'm Sam. Samuel Liu. I am a senior. So I'm gonna graduate next semester. I use he, him. I'm currently studying computer science and biochemistry.
I'm Kevin. I'm a third year student. I use he, him pronouns, and I study computer science and information science. The first time I heard about Taekwondo was when Erica brought it up. She briefly explained it as like a prayer practice for her, which was a very foreign concept to me. You know, like when you think about prayer, you think about someone maybe closing their eyes and having some kind of, you know, internal or external verbal communication.
Yeah.
And I just was really curious what that could be like. And I think the biggest part of why I think I decided to go was because Erica specifically mentioned that the five aims to achieve in Taekwondo reminds her a lot about the fruits of the spirit. I was just curious. So I went.
When I decided to join, Kevin had already been doing Taekwondo for a while here. So he was just sharing with me about some of his experience. I don't remember what exactly we talked about, something about like prayer or something. But yeah, I mean, somewhat recently, within the past year, or at least I started running. And so when I kind of like stopped doing that, I was like, oh, this is something I could pick up just for fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are other like more spiritual aspects to why I wanted to do Taekwondo. But we can talk about that when we.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come up in the course of our conversation.
Yeah.
So Kevin, for you, it was Erica sort of talking about it in a way that you hadn't heard before, and Sam, for you, was someone inviting you. But you both sort of came, and you both, at one point, were here doing Taekwondo at Press House for the first time. And so for those watching who are curious about what it might be like for them to come for the first time, what was your first class experience like? I've heard some of the sounds from my office of what class in here is like. There's a lot of thumping and thudding and ki-eyeing, and what was it like?
Well, it was honestly relatively expected, mainly because I had some sort of martial arts experience a long time ago, but this was like elementary school to middle school. This was very, very long ago, and it's really strange because I have a hard time recalling a lot of my like younger childhood memories. So I actually don't remember that much about me doing like martial arts when I was young. When I came and we were doing all this stuff, it's like, oh yeah, like this is kind of coming back to me. So we like had to like, I saw people bowing when they turned or bowing to each other and stuff. So oh yeah, we have to do that. I forgot. And like calling each other sir and man. So oh yeah, I forgot. Respect's a big thing.
Well, I thought they were a little crazy. Yeah, like I don't know. I also did Taekwondo, but it was 12 years ago. So I was 8. That's early in elementary school. And with my very faint memory, I don't remember it being as like physically intensive as it is here. I love how Erica describes it. It's like everyone is in 2x, like video. Like everyone's on
2x.
fast playback. Like everything is just really fast, and when Erica described it to me and talking about all of these like spiritual aspects of it, I think I kind of, formulated a preconception of like Zen or like quiet and controlled, slow movements. But the beginning of Taekwondo is like the complete opposite of that. We do start with like a moment of just closing our eyes in silence, but right as that closes, we're just like on 2x. And that almost feels like, or it felt to me and still feels to me like a portal, like a portal to a different space. Where, because it's so fast and because like it's so cognitively and physically intensive to be doing those warm-ups, I just kind of forget about, like leave a trail behind me of all the things that I'm thinking about. So it's a bit like a portal.
Both of you have sort of spoken to this already, this idea of Taekwondo as a spiritual practice. And so how would you say that practicing Taekwondo has deepened your spiritual journey?
I think for me, there are a lot of things that I, attached to what spiritual practice looks like. Just from being grown up in the church and whatever that comes with that. So I'm thinking like, when we sing praises, or when I read the Bible, or when I'm in some kind of intimate fellowship with people. But I think Taekwondo is much more simple than that. Like there is very little mind gymnastics going on when I'm doing Taekwondo. So, when I'm doing, let's say, a Bible study, I can be thinking about a million different things. Like, who's the author? How does this apply to me? How do I feel? But I think here, all you're really focusing on is just how your body feels. And I think it's a much more focused experience. And I think, in terms of why that physicality of it makes me feel spiritual, I think I am still unsure why. But I think to me especially, it has something to do with my cultural background. Like a lot of the things that I do, before Taekwondo as spiritual practices are not very like deeply connected to who I am culturally. And because this is something that I've done 12 years ago, and there is like parts in me that is awakening in ways that I don't understand, I think that is a part of why Taekwondo is a spiritual practice. And I would also say that's not to deter like people who haven't had experiences with martial arts before. I think it just brings out different parts of people's lives. Yeah.
It's been really good for me because it helps me kind of get to know who I am physically, like who I am like in a physical space. Like I mean that sounds like very elementary, but I think like to know like the limits of like all of your like what you think you know about who you are physically, to be able to like test that and observe that and play with that like multiple times a week, like understand like the limits of like how much you can stretch or how good or like how balanced like you feel when you're doing like a certain kick or something. But yeah, like entering that space by doing like all these warm ups and stuff is like, yeah, I mean it's definitely essential because like, I mean, though unfortunate, like the two worlds between like our modern world and like the sort of like spiritual and like overlapping spiritual and physical world that Taekwondo is, like, I mean, it's very different from like me at work or something like that, or like me like going to class and stuff. But I think I definitely value like the world I was talking about of Taekwondo a lot.
What would you say to someone who is interested in trying Taekwondo but is maybe feeling nervous about it? They're worried that they can't handle it physically or something like that. Or maybe another person who is skeptical, like they've heard people talk about it as a spiritual practice and they don't really buy it. What would you say to that person?
I think to someone who is nervous about Taekwondo or like just trying it out, I think this space, although at first can feel a little bit intimidating just because there's like a whole row of black belts in front of you and everyone seems to be knowing what they're doing. Everyone has started somewhere at some point, and I think everyone here knows that really well. Like, they're really willing to, you know, as Sam was saying, you know, as much as you're trying to understand where you are, I think everyone else around you is also aware of where you are.
Like, it's very humbling, but also, I mean, yeah, like Kevin was saying, like really everybody started there, and the people that are progressing, very few of them are prideful about it because of where they started. Like they started because they understood where they were, and like they understood that like, this is a really hard and spiritual practice that like is not something you can be prideful about.
Before I discovered Taekwondo, I was a skeptic because I believed that something like this might not be kind of aligned with how I think about what prayer means or what spiritual practice means. But you never know until you try, and that's a little cliche, but I think it's better giving it a shot and knowing that it doesn't work, and yeah, not trying at all.
Well, is there anything else sort of lingering in your minds that you want to share about your experience of Taekwondo, or any final words?
This whole time, I just want to end it with the sitting stance middle punch.
No, you can do that.
You can. I didn't plan for us to have any kind of demonstration or anything, but you can.
Okay, go on.
Do you think the camera can see us standing up?
No, but I can just reframe it.
Alright, let's reframe it. So, I just wanted to end the interview with one of the things, my favorite thing that we do at Taekwondo. We do it at the very end, and it's just all of us doing punches together in one rhythm and doing like a ki hop for each one. And yeah, it just gets me so excited because I feel like there are very limited places where you can scream as loudly as you want. And something about that just lets go of a lot of things in me. So to share that with me, the sitting stance middle punch just goes like, you start from your right arm, and then you kind of put your legs at shoulder space, and then kind of bend your knees a little bit, and then you just put one of the hands on your waist and one of them like this. And every time you punch, you kind of twist from, and you aim kind of at the middle, like that.
So if you were punching at somebody, it would be like around here. So you'd be punching like towards the middle,
Okay.
not just like out.
So to end it, we can start from this stance with your left hand.
Left hand.
Yeah. And then for each one, we're gonna do 5. Just key up as loud as you can. So just go.
Okay.
That's 5. Okay. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
You have to say. Never mind.
Yep. That's all.
Oh well.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And to those watching, thanks for tuning in. And if you're a student, I hope that you join us at Press House for Taekwondo next semester. Peace.